Hello everybody and welcome to some naval action with me. I hope you're all well, and I do apologise about the little absence this week. I've been a bit away and there's not been sort of much content in the past 7 days. Unfortunately, I've had a very bad throat and kidney infection, so I've been very, very sick and unable to really do much. But anyway, I'm back. Here we are, and we're in naval in HMS Tigor. The HMS Tiger is one of the most OP boats in game. Honestly, it's one of the most. It's probably the best. The Merkava's probably a very good vehicle for its type, but in all honesty, the Tiger is probably the most overpowered of the event vehicles. It is a incredibly unbalanced ship, and it's it's something else really. Anyway, that's not the discussion here today. The discussion here today is about bots in naval. Yes, bots. And the reason for this this video is just how dense the bots are. It's a huge issue in War Thunder because they're essentially becoming half the team. So if we look at the scores here on team list, you can see that pretty much half our team are bots. Half the enemy team are bots. This can become problematic. Hopefully that was okay. Anyway, yeah, this becomes very problematic because when you've got bots in naval, like you have here, so yeah, when you've got bots in naval, it just really becomes very awkward because bots are incredibly stupid. They don't really have a free mind. We're actually going to switch to battlefield. As you can see, we're just sailing into a massive broadside, a massive amount of firepower from the enemy team here. About 6-7 kilometers away. But bots are incredibly dumb. Now we've got a bot here that's just sailing in the PR206, and you can see it just absolutely getting annihilated and sinking. And yeah, very stupid decision by the bots. And over here we've got a few more bots. Now this guy here, I believe, is a bot. Unfortunately, the name tag not showing up for some reason. Probably a setting up. Forgot to switch on or something. But as you can see, bots are just incredibly dense, and they just don't do much in the game. They don't really add much because, as you can see, this guy is just basically sinking and just continuing to sail on, fighting, and not really doing much. The enemy team have got a few players, and it does help an awful lot. But when you look at the actual battlefield and the scope of the battlefield as well, like we've got a very large map here, a very large map of islands, and all of the bots are sort of going for one objective, all the players are going for another one, and it just doesn't work because the bots are so stupid. They don't sort of think, oh, well, this is captured, let's try and capture this thing. Let's try and capture this thing. Let's try and capture this thing. No, all the bots do is just constantly go after one objective. And the other issue about the bots is the AI is incredibly, well, it cheats, basically. The AI cheats. There's no two ways about it. You know, if you've ever played a game of the arcade song, the AI cheat with their shots. They they can shoot you from pretty much anywhere and win without any issue. You saw that Clemson there of one of the bots just get absolutely annihilated, and now a destroyer. We just took out with a couple of shots. Again, this is the strength of the HMS Tiger. It is a very, very ludicrously powerful vehicle. Part of that is to do with this very strong shell. If we have a look here, you can see it doesn't have much penetration, but it has got a large amount of explosive mass in it. And when it does penetrate, it really causes a lot of damage. The fuse is very short, so it does have to struggle a little bit, but generally it will penetrate and explode and cause huge amounts of damage to everything. And as you can see, the fire rate is just constant. You're pretty much firing every couple of seconds. You just press the button, hold fire, aim, and away we go. And because these are the standard ammo, they're free. As I said, the HMS Tiger is a very, very powerful ship, and it's a bit ludicrous how powerful it is. The Crancy Krim over there is pretty much crippled now because all of its guns are disabled, and it's just pretty much floating into death. It's basically just there to score me more points now. And this is something that is a bit of an issue with naval as well. It's just it's not really working. Yes, there are some fun moments, but it's not a very well designed one. And the addition of bots hasn't really helped things. Yes, it's mobile a few times, but the other thing it means is we've got teams where bots are just being completely useless. And that's not what we want. We want things to be actually somewhat useful. Let's just go and look at our Farragut here of Toshiko. So firing for two forward-mount guns, just sailing on. It's gone out of range, I think. They'll get back in now. But just sailing straight towards a cruiser. Now we have managed to basically cripple it, and the cruiser has finally died. But it just this destroyer, instead of going towards A and capping it, it's just sailing on and not really doing anything to help the team. So look at Ashton here in the PR7U. Now this one it is trying to go for the A cap at least, but wait, what's it doing now? Is it turn? Why do you keep turning? Why are you turning, Ashton? Why? Because as you can see, Ashton here is obviously not damaged. Sorry, the stupid controls. But instead of going to the A cap and actually capping it, it's going in a round circle to try and double back and head back to the enemies, which are over here. And as you can see, doing that, it's just going to basically go into the rocks which are there. Toshiko here is still flooding. And instead of sort of repairing the flooding and getting buoyancy back, it's just going to sit here and just remain flooding. Let's see what another bot's up to of Yakov here. Yakov's on fire and has decided to back up. Okay, that's a good move. Have you put the fire out? Maybe might be a good idea to put the fire out. No, you're just gonna die, aren't you? You're just gonna die. Yeah, I think that's the case. You're just gonna die, and basically just help the enemy team score some points. Donovan, let's see what you're up to. Oh, okay, you're sailing towards B. That's something of a brave move. Without any support, and you're just sailing into crossfire of all of the enemy AI ships. Yeah. Yakov here is still on fire, and getting worse on fire. The K2 there is just absolutely annihilating it. Yeah. Meanwhile, we have managed to cap... no, sorry, we haven't managed to cap, actually. We're still trying to cap A. Because, unfortunately, Ashton here is still being a complete and utter numpty and unable to go towards A and cap it. The Brooklyn here, instead of turning into the cap and just trying to help us a little bit, has just decided to sail straight on. It's a bit hard to manoeuvre these ships. The cruisers are pretty tricky to manoeuvre, so it is tricky, but I mean, he should be turning a bit more to his left-hand side and going towards the cap. It would make sense, because we do need that cap to win. Myself, I'm heading towards A. I've managed to pull off a rather large turn. Of course, cruisers are not the easiest thing to turn in, because they are rather big ships, and it can be a little bit tricky. Now, while we were just looking away there, you can see that a few of the ships have been destroyed, and Yakov here is still just on fire without repairing and finally dying. But this is the main problem with these AI boats, is they don't do anything to aid the team. They just die, and they're just cannon fodder. That's all they are. That's all they can do, is be cannon fodder, or just useless for your team. If this was a player, they would have managed to get to A. If this was a player, they would have got to A. We would have capped A. Unfortunately, we don't have many smart players on our team. We're just full of bots. I mean, as you can see here, are still rather useless. Even the enemy team's bots are not great. Now there is somebody coming up behind this island here. I think it's probably... I'm not sure who that was. Yeah, somebody. Anyways, one of our team. Our Emden is just basically AFK now, which is always useful. We have a Sumner here, which is doing a very good job and trying to kill that. I think one of the AIs over there. But they just don't do anything to aid in a mission. So we'll just jump back to the hero, of course, to me, Screezilla. The AI don't bring in sort of aircraft, things like that. They don't really add anything more to your matches. They just add something else to kill, and that's pretty much it. They're basically just cannon fodder. And one of the other issues is when you kill an AI, it doesn't really count properly, so you don't get... You may like have a match like I'm having, where, you know, getting, you know, some good assists and some good kills, but when you look at your stats and things like that, it turns out that your stats don't carry with the AI kills, and that becomes very problematic. As you can see, Toshihiko is still just sitting there sinking. Ashton is still just sitting here being a complete useless numpty. Myself, I'm trying to actually manoeuvre to get into the C section here, because I believe my team needs help. The Emden here is still just sitting and basically being a target. Toshiko is still sinking. Donovan is actually trying to do something, I believe. It's going towards the sea cap and trying to keep in that area. But unfortunately for Donovan, there are many enemies. And, well, as you can see here, with the gun position, this AI is not shooting at the obvious choice of player. We've got Robin here, who's using this AI very well as a shield, and the AI is now dead, of course. But the AI there was not shooting at the enemy, it wasn't really helping out. It could have launched torpedoes and taken out the enemy Emden and things like that. But, sorry, the Crancy Crim. But it didn't. It just sat there and took all the shots. Meanwhile, the enemy team has pretty much lost the majority of their sort of their ships, basically, of useless bots. But you can see here that they've got a useless bot of their own, and it's managed to run itself aground, and now it's dead. Meanwhile, our two bots are still just sitting here doing nothing. You get a beautiful look at this lovely shipwreck here, which looks to be a cargo vessel of some kind. Meanwhile, I'm still trying to get into position, and we've got a pretty much guaranteed victory here. It's looking good, isn't it? You know, we're looking good for a win right now. Everything's looking like it's going to work out. And if we could just get somebody in the B point, it would all be good. Unfortunately, because we don't have many players with intelligence, or any players with artificial intelligence, nobody's going towards that spot, and it's causing a bit of a mess. And the enemy team are sort of working their way and getting into, for God's sake, are getting into the cap and things like that, and getting sort of into positions where they can cause some damage. That's the what I wanted. The torpedo's about to hit this guy on the stern, and yes, he does get hit, but he does survive it, just about. So yeah, good. No, he doesn't survive it though. There we go. He's actually dead. So yeah, this guy here, who, let's see, is he a bot? No, he's not a bot. Okay, you know, but did a good job, because basically he's decapped C. Now, as you can see, we are winning by some margin. The enemy are capping C though, because they do have somebody in there. I'm trying to remember who it is actually now. I can't even see who it is. I think it's a bot or something on their side that's actually managed to get in there or something like that. There are some small vessels and things like that in the sea area, but they've managed to cap it now. Now, you saw the ticket bleed before when we had the 2 capture points. Now we're getting towards the end of the match. Look at the ticket bleed. It's changed. The ticket's now bleeding faster. Now I don't really have any great explanation for this. Other than just replacing really well, is that Crancy Crim is actually alive. And as you can see, he's launched his torpedoes there to try and get me, but we have managed to avoid them very, very closely. So almost a torpedo. The Crancy Crim we're following is, I think, this guy here, who, as you can see, he appears to be dead, but he wasn't. He is now, however, but yeah, for some reason the replay is bugging hard for anyone else other than me. But bleeds got faster towards the end of the match. I don't know if it's because we have less vehicles or whatever, but we have more vehicles. But for some reason the ticket bleed's going much faster now. It doesn't really make that much sense, does it? Anyway, trying to get into sea now. And as you can see, because I'm in a cruiser, I can't really move that well. Trying to get into the sea cap here, you know, you're using all the methods you can and trying your best to sort of go forwards and backwards, and it's a bit like doing a parallel parking job. You've just basically got to go forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards, and you squeeze yourself into the spot. And it can be very frustrating to try and actually do this, because you're just really, really struggling to get this ship around. It's very, very frustrating, and it feels very, very cheap. Now, there is an enemy torpedo boat heading towards me, but as you can see, it's an AI. And because it's an AI, it wasn't really smart enough to launch torpedoes at me. Again, this is the issue with the AI. Now, the ticket bleed situation is becoming quite ridiculous now, because, as I said, earlier in the match, we were holding it quite well, and you know, the ticket bleed was very slow. Come towards the end of the match, though, it goes much faster. So, you're generally safe to just leave 2 caps capped for a while, and then finally cap it. Now, I just want to bring our attention to this guy, this Elko, right? You can see here that he has a straight run to sea. Now, right now, there is an enemy torpedo boat. Managed to launch a torpedo into me. Gonna drop a depth charge. Managed to kill me. And basically win the game for his team. Meanwhile, our bot here, instead of going for the capture of sea, has just decided to sail on. The tail of Ashton is still, he's sitting there. Still doing a good job just sitting there. I'm trying to get to the cap, but we're running out of tickets, and the match ends. So we're just going to head to the end screen now. Okay, and here we are in the end results screen. So, as you can see, for the amount of effort and everything going through, not really that much reward. It was a loss, obviously, so, you know, you don't get that much for losing. But still, the amount of shots, 159 hits, it's kind of just like, okay, well, that's great, thanks. That's really not that much reward. It's very unrewarding, you know. Research bonus points because I had a booster activated, so, you know, that did help an awful lot, but still, it's, you know, it's ridiculous for the amount of effort you put in. And as you could see at the end there was nothing really I could do about it, because unfortunately these stupid bots were just not responding and going to cap. Gaijin needs to really look at increasing the AI. How did this guy just do nothing? Let's jade out early on. We had obviously one more player than the enemy team, so okay, that's handy. But like, the bots are just so useless. They're just there for padding. They don't do anything. They don't really help out. They're just... The AI needs a real rework. That's the ultimate thing about this, is you can't add AI into a game when the game doesn't have intelligent AI. It makes no sense whatsoever. You know... Look at World of Warships. Okay, a lot of their AI is scripted. Okay, so the AI is scripted in the PvE battles where you take on the mission, the sort of weekly mission task things. I've got the name of them, but the AI is somewhat programmed for that, and it makes perfect sense. You know, it works really well. But even their AI in the PvE, just pure straight battle mode, has intelligence and will actually do things for the team and be somewhat useful. But War Thunder doesn't have that. Gaijin hasn't really programmed their AI correctly for ages, and they don't have really any PvE focus in the game or any AI that's any good. Now, we'll just head out here, just the awards, you know, obviously, just assist streak, and that was about it, really. You know, we did pretty well, but, like, as I say, it's a pretty poor result. The AI in the dynamic campaign or the historical campaign, the historical campaign is a good example because the AI is somewhat decent in this. But the reason the AI is somewhat decent is because it's purely scripted. But when you look at the AI in the wild, they're just so dumb. They don't have any idea what they're doing. And it just doesn't work. So putting AI into naval missions doesn't work. Now, the only AI that really can sort of somewhat work is the planes, and even then they're pretty dumb. You know, it's not really a challenge attacking them. And having naval battles where AI is essentially going to be a crucial part, about half your team, you need the AI to actually do something. Anyway, I hope you've understood this video, enjoyed it, and found my rant somewhat interesting. Yeah, that's it. And also, I'm back. Sorry, I've been away. I've had a horrible throat infection all last week. I was very, very sick. So, yay. Kidney infection and throat infection at the same time. So, not good. But there is some big channel news coming. So, keep your eyes peeled. Alright, until next time, guys and girls, this is me, Screezilla, out. Bye-bye.